Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be reviewing Unique Toys Red Dasher. And in other words, this is an MP scale Autobot Dino from the third live action movie Transformers Dark of the Moon. Now I've had this for almost a year. I got it last year for my birthday, and unfortunately I never had the time to really do this. I kept putting it off, so I'm happy that I finally got to do this. It was courtesy of my father. Now, the accessories are pretty nice. It comes with his blades that he has in the movie, as well as the hooks that he launches in the third movie as well. Now, this is a Ferrari, and it looks amazing. The engineering is phenomenal on this car. As I'm sure you've seen before, it is a very well-designed car. It rolls perfectly fine, and the colors are really well done, the transformation is really well done, and the robot mode is really well done to the source material. So let's get into it and we'll see exactly if it's worth buying and how difficult it is to figure things out. Now, these are some extra hands that you can have for him, and it'll help you set up like any poses. This does come with a card figure for him, but also one for DX9 Hot Rod. I'm not really sure why, but it's there and it's neat. Maybe it's to try to convince you to buy another one. I might get it eventually. I'll have to do a little bit of research on price and stuff like that. But he also comes with these little side view mirrors for the car, and they do kind of just plug in. There's no real instructions for that, but it makes sense. Now, my one issue with that is that it doesn't actually plug in that well. I had to force them in, and while one of them, once you forced it, it went in pretty nice. The other one, to this day, still does not really fit in, and I had to have a lot of paint shipping for that. But obviously, once they're in, it looks just like the normal Ferrari, which is awesome. So, let me know what you think about the paint shipping. Is it worth it? Can I fix it? I don't know. And as you can see, I did struggle a little bit to try to put that right side of the car in. I even tried using the scissors to check to make sure there weren't any blockages, but unfortunately it's just designed this way, or maybe there's a QC issue. It just doesn't really go in super well or fully in like it does on the other side. Anyways, for this review video, we're actually going to be starting from the robot mode because I think it'll make a little bit more sense for the transformation and everything. This is with the extended arms that he will have in the movie, which is pretty sick. It looks great, and you're able to attach it to other MP figures. Now, on one of the arms it doesn't super fit in, but that's totally fine. As for articulation, you've got a little bit more than 90 degrees, and the feet do articulate, and then the hands do have some dynamic posing, and it's neat. Actually, the arms do go almost all the way up for a bicep curl. Now, the reason that I started in the robot mode is because the instructions are just a QR code on the back of the box that links you to some YouTube video. So I watched it, I replicated it, and it was an absolute pain for some reason. So that's why we're starting here, and then I'll talk through our transformations to hopefully help a little bit, because there's like one or two places in the video that I just couldn't do it, and I had to go through two other YouTube videos from other reviewers just in order to understand what's going on. But yeah, this is the robot mode. It's pretty neat, and it offers a lot of dynamic posing, and it's pretty fun. I really enjoyed this. But yeah, for transformation, we can go right ahead and get started. You have to move the head all the way down, and then you can start moving the arms upwards like so. However, one thing that I did forget was that you do have to open the shoulders up like this, and it'll make sense later on. One thing that I really like about this figure is that everything just kind of makes sense, even if in the moment it might be a little weird or complicated, but it's really cool. And then the arms, you just have to manipulate them a little bit, and then the wrists will end up folding down in order to conserve space for the hood of the car. But it's pretty awesome. And I did not speed this one up too much, so you can see in real time how how I'm dealing with it. And this was after one practice run. And here we are untabbing the little red things from the abs, and that's going to help us to start creating the roof of the car. It's pretty ingenious the way that it was created. I'm actually really happy with that. And then let's go ahead, rotate, and move over the doors of the car. And then this will allow us to basically unfold the huge backpack, and then we can start forming the hood of the car. And it's just a matter of popping things into place. And then I did wait for this, but you could have done this earlier, and it's basically to straighten out the arms and really just make sure that they all fully connect together in a nice way. And then as you can see, the windshield part moves and untabs and then can go into the front of the car, and you can really see how nicely it fits into place. And then the shoulder pieces end up actually covering part of the face, which is really neat. And then what you have to do is make sure that the entire arm is able to connect to the other arm. I think there's 2 or 3 joints for you to connect to. But before that, don't forget the little pieces from right behind his head do come all the way out to attach to the roof of the car, like so. And now that we've attached the forearms, we just have to sort of shimmy and attach the biceps of the figure. Now it does take a little bit of practice to get used to that, and I think after 1 run, maybe 2 runs, it's easy to memorize, so that's really fun. Like, it's pretty self-intuitive. And then yeah, as you can see, the face is mostly covered, and then we can fold the hood right over the arms as soon as they're ready. A really nice thing about this figure is that you can separate the legs and the torso, upper body pretty easily. As for the legs, you're going to unpin the top part like so, bend down one of the pieces there, and then you're basically going to unfold the sides of the legs and then turn the wheel over. So in other words, we're going to be exposing the wheel, turning it over, and then everything kind of goes and forms into place in a pretty satisfying way, as you'll see. So here you can see that with a little bit of manipulation, we're going to take the foot, bend all the extra bits off to this towards the center, and then rotate the tire a little bit. And this way it will allow us to have the tire facing the outside. Once you have that out, you have that extra little red piece, which is actually able to tab into what we already have formed of the side of the vehicle. Now, I did struggle a little bit for this leg, but it went a lot smoother for the other one. So now, moving on to the other leg, we have to do the exact same thing, expose the wheel, turn it over. And then once that's back in, we can form that beautiful side of the car. And then you tab in that little side piece. And then for the foot, you just need to rotate it and then twist it over. Then you can fold in all the extra pieces for the feet. And then as for sort of the butt of the figure, you untab it and you open up these little arms. and then that's going to end up forming the rear part of the vehicle. As for the legs, it's really satisfying to be able to sort of bring them all and bend them down to the front of the vehicle, and then you're going to be able to sort of like make everything fit. So this does take a little bit of strength and extra work, but the result is worth it. This part is a little difficult because you have to make sure that this little piece of the glass goes into the tab, but it will fall down due to gravity. So on camera it's a little bit more difficult to do, but you can always just flip the car upside down, let gravity work with you. And then, as mentioned earlier, for the hood, we do just have to do a little bit of manipulation to the hands in order to make it so that they can hide inside the hood neatly. Anyways, so after a little bit of struggling, I did have to double check with the videos, and you do just have to move the hands off to the side like so. And while it doesn't tab into anything, it does stay really neatly and doesn't create any extra bumps or anything like that. And then one thing about this figure is that things that you might tab in or align might change while you're doing other pieces, which is normal, but I find it's a little bit more apparent with this figure, which is fine. Just keep that in mind, that maybe things aren't where they were earlier, and make sure you correct that before you proceed to the further steps, because the last thing you want is to accidentally break or do anything to an expensive figure. I did notice that one of the headlights had popped off, so I just put that back in place. It popped off at the beginning of the video when I first unboxed it, I believe so. Anyways, moving back to the actual figure, it is just a matter of getting that little glass piece towards the rear of the vehicle in place, and then moving the leg in place, and then tabbing it into the couple spots that we are able to tab it. As for the rear of the vehicle, you just need to rotate these red pieces over to the side and use that back panel that we opened earlier with the hands, and then it'll look like a wonderful rear of a vehicle. And here's an example of me tabbing everything in, getting everything to fit in place. And unlike a lot of Hasbro releases, once it's in place, it works amazingly. There's no extra little things you have to worry about, and it so far has been a 100% success rate where when I get the vehicle mode going, it rolls, then there's no extra baggage or anything anywhere that's impeding on it. For stability, I would recommend just closing the door and fully getting all that squared away before moving on to the other side, but to each their own. And now that all of that is in place, we can start doing the rear of the vehicle, where you have to sort of shimmy over these two pieces, and they do snap into place, which is awesome. And then you can put the middle piece in and then slide the arms to connect to the taillights, and then there you have it. This is the vehicle mode for Autobot Dino, and as you can see, it rolls awesomely and it looks great. It looks like an awesome Ferrari. So it is great. This is like a 10 out of 10 figure. It's a masterpiece, knockoff, and cheaper than like regular masterpieces. And it's not really a knockoff because there isn't one that I'm aware of that exists. So this is just its own figure, which is great. Obviously, the source material for Dino's face isn't the prettiest, but I mean, they did Unique Toys did a wonderful job creating this figure. So now we're going to transform it back to robot mode, but you probably don't need me to talk, so I'm just going to let it play through, and then if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments, and I'm more than happy to answer them. But this is a pretty good figure. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. I kind of want some of the other Unique Toys figures, but I know they'll be more difficult, so we'll see. But this one feels really straightforward to transform, and it's enjoyable. It's once you do it a couple of times, it's very enjoyable. There's no part of this that I dread, like other figures. One part that I did want to mention is that this part is specifically where I got stuck on the tutorial video, and I found it really hard to understand. The angle wasn't really the best from my personal understanding, so I'll just kind of talk through it a little bit. But you're basically folding over everything in on itself from the hood to the top of the vehicle, and then it will have this little shell piece, and then don't forget to bring these little pieces down. And then you have to make sure everything is flat, like the windshield, everything has to be fully flat as you fold it over, and then you're able to connect these little red pieces over to the side into the sort of glass area. And I don't know why, it just took like forever for me to understand this. It just felt like black magic from the video, but hopefully that helps someone out, because once you figure that out, it kind of feels like an ingenious method and it makes a lot of sense. It's just, I wish instructions were there, but maybe instructions would have been able to show us what you need to do for this. I did struggle here for no reason at all. It was really a skill issue. There shouldn't be any issue with you tabbing in both pieces there. Anyways, once this tabbed in, it's relatively straightforward to make him look just like any other Autobot from the live action movies, with the car doors as wings and then the arms off to the side. Anyways, this is a really solid figure. I have no real complaints other than the instructions, I guess, and some of the QC, like with the mirrors, but the weapons are fun. Some light paint chipping when you put into weapons, but that's nothing really. This figure is really straightforward and awesome, and for, let's average this to 150 Canadian ish, this is a decent price, so I'm really happy with this. It feels great to hold, pose. The feet aren't as stable as I would like them to be, because it's very easy to move like his front toes, which makes it harder to hold some poses, but overall this is still a great figure, and you don't even need to worry about those poses anyways. And the fact that he has semi-articulate hands is a huge plus, because there's some Hasbro figures that are just as expensive that don't even have that. But anyways, thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you in the next one, and look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.